So welcome everyone. My name is Taurus the Legend. Thank you for joining our sixth and final session in our series, in our SAP Fiori webinar series. So far, we've covered UX strategy and roadmap with Tom Rice on the first session, and we had my colleagues Raz Korn, Ian Quigley, and Arun covering Business Application Studio, Fiori Tools, and Fiori Elements. And then we had Oliver Greff covering SAP UI5 on September 30th. And then we had my colleague Sibylle Brem doing Fiori Launchpad on Monday this week. And then yesterday, Thilo Berndt and Robert Wasserman did SAP Mobile and SAP Mobile Start. Hopefully, so far it's given you a good basis and an understanding of what Fiori is, what can be done, what tools are currently available. Now, basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to sort of, put the needle in the thread and thread all of the pieces together in implementing in our session today, implementing Fiori. So my colleague Carola Steinemeyer will be covering implementing Fiori for S/4HANA. And then my colleague Gaurav Day will be covering use SAP BTP to build your use cases. Having said this, in one hour sessions over 6 days, while it gives you a good idea of what the topic is, it really doesn't do enough justice to the topics themselves. Each one of these topics can easily be expanded into a full day, 2 days, or 3 day sessions of deep dives to get a really good understanding. The objective for the series today is really to give you a taste of what the art of the possible, if I can be permitted to use a cliche, is the art of the possible, and then for it to be used as a springboard for further discussions down the road. Apart from this, we're in the process of trying to see if we can set up a seventh session, a session fully dedicated to Eclipse and rapid development. So it's the ABAP development tool. So stay tuned for that. We're looking at possibly having that organized for next week. Having said that, so like I said, my colleague Carola is going to be doing implementing Fiori for S/4HANA, and then Gaurav is going to be doing SAP BTP use cases in a moment. Their contact information is here. So like I said, this is just a beginning. If you have additional questions for either of them, please do reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to help you. As I said in the last 5 sessions, we have our customer value network, and you guys are hopefully are all part of it. And this is really a one-stop shop of information of where we can get connected, get technical content, and hear about upcoming events, which some of you have joined us over the last 2 weeks at some of the events that we've had in the last 2 weeks. So if you're interested in learning more about the Customer Value Network, please do click on that link and get some more information. Our next event we have is October 12th to 14th, and unfortunately it's in the North American time zone, but we will look to replicating this in APJ, or maybe just dedicated for India in general. Our 7th episode for the SAP Garage series is now on November 3rd. Yesterday, if some of you were able to join us yesterday, we finished our 6th episode yesterday. You can find the recording of that on YouTube. So if you do a search for episode 6 for the SAP Garage series, you can find it on YouTube. If not, you can join us, register yourselves and join us for episode 7, Automate Data Extraction from Business Documents with AI and Intelligent RPA. So again, this is where it sort of looks one level deeper, a little bit more hands-on enablement, expert guidance, and each of these episodes is focused on one SAP Discovery Center mission, which we go and dive into the details for that. And then finally, like I mentioned before, you can also get yourself plugged into our practitioners forum, We do have the SAP Screen Personas Practitioners Forum, which is held every third Wednesday of every month, hosted by my colleague Peter Spielvogel and Konrad Bernal. I do host the SAP Fiori Practitioners Forum, and my colleague Jocelyn Dart and Simon Kemp host the SAP APJ UX Practitioners Forum every third Thursday of every month. Our next one is, I believe, the 21st of October. And then I also do host the SAP Business Technology Platform Practitioners Forum, and my colleagues Risha Sharma and Rajesh Raghupati cover the APJ version of that, and that's every third Tuesday of every month. So, you know, if you want to get plugged in and get sort of the latest information on any of the happenings around UX and BTP, these are the places to be. And with that, I want to hand it off to my colleague Kaola. Kaola?
Yes, hello. I will share my screen. Can you see my slide? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to present in this forum today. My name is Carola Steinmeier. I am product expert in the area of Fiori Launchpad technology. And today I would like to give you an overview on the end-to-end Fiori implementation experience. And I would like also to give a live demo of this end-to-end flow with a focus on the design time tools on the ABAP platform. This means you will learn how to adapt the Fiori content, SAP delivered Fiori content according to your needs. The disclaimer, I assume you know very well, so just be aware all forward-looking statements are subject of uncertainties and might be changed at any time. In this presentation, I would like to guide you through the end-to-end Fiori implementation process, starting with the discovery of Fiori content, then how you will see how to activate Fiori content, and finally, how to adapt the Fiori content according to your needs. And at the end, I hope we have the time still, then we have a look on the Fiori deployment options and FAP assembly endpoint. So the whole Fiori implementation process has mainly three phases. So first of all, we have the initial scoping phase, where you need to find out which Fiori apps are relevant for you, what are the apps you want to use, and which business processes do you want to cover. Then, with the rapid activation task list, you can activate the selected Fiori content, meaning all the services which are used by the apps and the Fiori infrastructure then are activated. And doing this in a sandbox system, you can first do a fit gap analysis, analyze the content, test the apps, before you then later in the third phase, adapt the content according to your needs. And for that, we have several design time tools, which you will see in this presentation and also in the live demo. To discover all relevant apps you need, we have the Fiori Apps Reference Library. This is a tool where you get all information on the delivered Fiori content, catalogs, apps, and so on. And let's just have a short look on that. Probably you know it. So here you can see the entry, the homepage of the apps reference library, and now you can get all information on the delivered apps. You can filter for certain criteria. For example, you can check which apps are delivered with S/4HANA and the product version 2020, for example. You can select different product versions. Which apps are part of this delivery. Then you can further, oh, no apps are found. You can further filter down for certain areas or certain roles, for instance, sub-internal sales rep. And then you get all apps which are relevant for this business role. Selecting a certain app delivers on the right-hand side all information about this app regarding product features, but also all technical information which you need for the implementation process later. So the roles, the catalogs, the components which needs to be installed and so on. If you then select several apps you are interested in, you can get an aggregated view on these apps. So I selected now 3 applications, and now I get an aggregated view. This means I'm interested in these 3 applications, for example, and here I can see which business catalogs are involved, which business roles, and so on, which data services are there. And from here, so you can see these are the 2 business roles which are relevant for these selected apps. And then from here you can export the list of roles. Here we have only 2 ones. In reality, there's multiple roles. You can export this list of roles you're interested in, and then you get a download in a Excel or in a text file. And with this list of roles, then you go to the activation task list and activate the content for further testing.
Carola, I think your voice is coming in a little feeble. So if you can just either come closer to your mic or speak a little louder.
Put my headphones on. Is this better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, better now.
Now?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, I put the headphones on and the video off. I hope this is okay now. Okay. Okay. This is the discovery phase using the Fiori apps reference library. Next step is then the activation of Fiori content. So to activate all the relevant services for the selected apps and the relevant navigation network, so app-to-app navigation also needs to be ensured, the rapid activation task can be used. And with this after activating this content, you then can directly easily experience SAP Fiori X and do a fit gap analysis. From SAP Fiori apps reference library, you can copy and paste the list of relevant roles, as we have seen just in the demo, and use it as input for the task list run. Then all the relevant apps and the related services are activated and directly can be used. In addition, test users are created for the selected roles. And so you directly get also the users and the authorizations to test all these applications in your sandbox system and do a fit gap analysis. We have mainly 3 task lists which are relevant in this implementation phase. First, we have the Fiori Foundation task list, which is the starting point to activate all services of the Fiori infrastructure, Launchpad service, and so on. Then the second one is the content activation task list, which is there to activate SAP delivered content in a sandbox system and then test and explore it, do a fit gap analysis. And finally, after adapting and customizing the Fiori content, then you can use the FCM content activation task list to also activate all related services in the system. Now, these are the most important task lists in the implementation process, whereas the last one is only used after the adoption and customizing of the Fiori content. Okay, now this is a phase I want to focus today, so the content adaptation. In this phase, you can customize the SAP delivered content, but also add your own custom apps in the Launchpad content. If you have developed your own Fiori application and want to make it available in the Fiori Launchpad, you need to do these steps. The content adaptation phase includes first the customizing of content, catalogs, roles, and so on, but also you can add your own developed content. So as mentioned, the custom apps you developed and now want to make available on the Launchpad. Therefore, we have design time tools, the Launchpad Content Manager and the Launchpad App Manager, which you will see in a demo in a minute. Then after customizing the content, you can activate this custom content using the FCM task list, as just mentioned. And finally, to structure your content on the Launchpad with the pages spaces concept, you then use the Manage Spaces and Pages app to define your Launchpad content structure, which is then visible for the end user. So before we now go to a demo, I just want to recap the different content entities which we will talk about and which we'll maintain then in the demo. Starting with the target application, the Fiori app you developed, for example. For this application, which you want to start from the Launchpad, you need to define a tile. A tile is a visual part, which we then see on the Launchpad here on the right-hand side. Then in addition, you define a target mapping, so which defines at the end which application is started when I click on the tile. This is defined in the target mapping, and the relationship between tile and target mapping is the intent. So the intent is the purpose of a tile. For example, sales order manage is the purpose of this tile, and which application is started, is launched, then is defined in the target mapping. We call it now in this bundle, we also call it SAP Fiori Launchpad app descriptor item. This is a bundling of tile and target mapping together. And in the new design time tool, we always have it together. In the old one, maybe you know already the Fiori Launchpad designer. So we have different entities, tile, target mapping, and only during downtime they were combined. Now we directly see this relationship in our design time tools, I think, which makes it much easier. Then we have the catalog. The catalog bundles the tile target mapping or the app descriptor items in a container, which is then assigned to the business role. And finally, we have structuring elements. So in the past, we had these groups. Now we have the new spaces and pages concepts to structure the homepage. And here on the top level, you see a space, for example, cash manager or accounts receivable. Below a space, you have one or several pages. In the accounts receivable space, we have 4 pages, as you can see. And the page is this yellow frame. So in the past, we had only one page with the groups. Now we can have several pages, which means we have an additional hierarchy level in the FLP page structure, content structure. And on one page, you have these sections. For example, to-do list. This is a section, looks like a group before, but the section itself is part of the layout of this page. So it's not a separate content entity. It's just part of the page definition. Okay. And for these content entities, now we have design time tools, application manager, which is there to define this SAP Fiori Launchpad app descriptor item. So the app itself, the tile and the target mapping. There you define your original Fiori content. So the original tile definitions, original target mapping. Therefore, we use the app manager. Then we have the content manager. The content manager is there to maintain the business catalogs. It's also a very good tool to analyze your content in the system. And we have several reuse functionalities, which is very appreciated tool by our customers. So it's really good to analyze your system content here. And the business catalogs only have references to the original catalog. So the originals are defined in the application manager. In the content manager, you define business catalogs where you have references to the original content. And then finally, we have the Manage Launchpad Spaces and Pages app to define the Launchpad structure. So pages and spaces as just shown. Okay. Here on the slides for your reference, we have one sliders for each application, each design time tool. You can have a look maybe later. I will just show it in a demo, and I think this is the best way to experience it. Also for the content manager, and also for the other tools, you can use the slides later for your reference and for further information. I think now it's time for the demo. And with that, I switch to the browser. Here in the test system, we have the the launchpad of this system, and this is the old design. So it's a groups design. You have a large page with all the tiles, a very long page. You can scroll. You have the groups. You can navigate by selecting the group in the title. And here, because we have a lot of groups on this launchpad page, you can here navigate to the sales analytics group or sales contacts group, for example. The Fiori launchpad group, it contains the design time tools. And so we have the app manager, we have the content manager for business catalogs, we have the managed spaces for maintaining spaces and pages. And these are the tools we will use in this demo now. So first of all, I would like to start the app manager, because I want to create now a new original tile, which should then later on launch a custom application. In this tool, you have all the original content, so all the tiles and target definitions in the system. And just you can, if you want to search for a tile or an app definition, and you have the Fiori ID number, for example, you can search for it. And here in this technical catalog, I have a tile target mapping to launch this application. Same, you can, for example, search, is there a tile for the managed spaces app? You can just search here, spaces. And I can see, okay, this managed spaces app is delivered with a technical catalog, SAP TC FLP Common. And if I click on the catalog, I can see what else is delivered in this technical catalog. As this is a test system, I cannot, it's read only, I cannot change these objects, therefore it's read only. But you can see in this technical catalog, there are also design time tools which you need to adapt your Launchpad content. And you see we have transactions. The Launchpad Content Manager is a transaction. Web Application Manager is a WebDimple application, and the Managed Launchpad Page and Space app is a SAP UI Fiori application. Okay, now I want to do what I want to do is to create now a new technical catalog. I need to give an ID and a text. This is just a container to define my original tile target mapping definition. And now I want to add a new tile, which then later on launches my custom app. I need a semantic object, product manage, because my app is to manage products. I need to select the app type. I have built a SAP UI Fiori application with this component name. And it can be used on desktop and tablet, so I can define here on which devices this application should be available. And that's it mainly. But now I want to define an additional tile. So there is a first tile which is automatically created, but I want to add an additional tile now, a static tile. I call it also manage products, because it's the same app. Products. Subtitle, title, INDUS, tile information, 2021. And I now could add an additional icon if I want, but I keep it like it is here. So I don't need this. And I save. Okay. Now I have created an original app descriptor ID with an app, with my custom app, and I have this custom app has two tiles. I have created this tile which I will later use on the Launchpad. So now I have created my tile. Next step is I use the content manager to adapt the SAP delivered content, and I will use the SAP sales order processing business catalog as a template to create my own business catalog. For that, I copy this business catalog, which is delivered by SAP, to my custom namespace. So I call it internal sales rep, and just namespace here like that. I copy this SAP content, which is my template. Now this is my the header line, and the content I copied just is the same as in the SAP catalog currently. But I now want to add to this business catalog my own original tile target mapping definitions, which I have just done in the application manager. For that, I add tile target mapping to selected catalog. And now I search for my tile target mapping definition I just did in the app manager. Here it is, tile target mapping definition product, and I add it now here. I have added my custom application, and I also think I don't need all these apps for sales order fulfillment. I don't need it, so in my custom content I want to delete this. It's too much. So I remove these tile target mappings which I just selected. Okay, that means my business catalog has, in addition, my own application with my custom tile, and I reduced also the content of the SAP delivered catalog. Okay, now that's done. Now, to make this content available for the end user, we need to assign now the business catalog to the business role. For that, I go to the transaction PFCG, the role maintenance transaction. And here I have also already prepared a copy of the SAP delivered business role, and the content is the same. But I want to add my own business catalog I just created. For that, I change now the role, I change the menu, and here you can add your content, your custom business catalog. I add Launchpad content. And I now look for my custom business catalog. So adding the business catalog to the role enables the end user to use all apps which are part of this business catalog. So it's not the topic to make it visible on the Launchpad, because this is done later by the pages definition or the groups definition. But to make it usable at all, I need to assign the business catalog to this role. So some apps are not activated. There was this error, but now you can see I added my custom business catalog to the role menu. And as you can see, there is already one, one space which is SAP delivered. This is also part of this business role because I copied it from the SAP delivered role. I have also SAP content in, and one is this space which is delivered by SAP. I have it in my role, and now let's check again the launchpad. I will go back to the launchpad here. So this is still the group, and now I can check if I can use my custom app. I add it to my business catalog. And this should appear then in this catalog. Maybe sometimes we have a buffer issue, or I need to restart the launchpad maybe. Otherwise, I will just show it in when we switch to the spaces mode, and we can see it also in the app finder. Maybe I will do that. So I go back to the launchpad. And now I would like to switch to the spaces mode. And this I can do in the settings. Here you have the spaces pages option, and I can say use spaces, save. And now you can see the same launchpad content, but in spaces mode. This is my home we will talk about. We have the launchpad, the design time tool apps, and so on. And we have this internal sales. This is the space I just showed in the PFTG. This space contains 6 pages. And this is sub-delivered content. So space and pages are sub-delivered. And I can see it here. Now let's try again if we can add, if you can find, oops. So the custom app is a bit tricky now. I think we have some network issues. But okay, I will do this later. What I now want to do is to define my own custom space. So for the defining spaces, there is the Manage Launchpad Spaces app. This is also one of the design time tools. I just reload to be sure it's refreshed. Here I have, you can see all SAP delivered spaces in the system, and you can see the custom spaces which we already have created in the system. And I have copied the sub-internal sales space to my namespace here, and I have reduced it to 4 pages. So I have inserted these 3 pages, which are also part of the SAP delivered space. But the overview, internal sales overview page, I have copied to my namespace to be able to edit it, because I cannot change the SAP content as customer, but I can copy it and change it and then use it. So this means I have my own custom space now with 4 pages. One of these pages is in the custom namespace, which I can add later. What I can do here is I can just change the order, so I can move the analytics page above. So like that, I can change the order of the pages in the space menu in the launchpad. Okay, save. And now to make this space available for me as end user, I need to assign it a role. I could do this in the PFCG transaction, but I also can do it directly in the content manager tool. This is a pretty new feature, so you do not need to go to the PFCG GUI transaction, but you can do it in this content manager tool. And here you can say, okay, here is my my custom role. Which spaces are already in? There's only this SAP space, and now I want to add my own custom space to this. This is my custom space. I add it to the role. Okay. Just let me see this. Cannot see the it's locked. Role is locked, or I'm still in edit mode, maybe. Change. Okay. Oh yeah. Here is the SAP space and my custom catalog. Now I try again. Just maybe I reload. Sorry, this takes some seconds to reload the content manager with all this content. Otherwise, I can do it in the PFG if this works faster, but I would like to show you the new feature of the SCM content manager. Just looking at the time. Oh, okay. So again, go to the roles, select my custom role, and show spaces and add my custom space. So, here it is. This is my custom space with the 4 pages. Select. Okay. Now it's added. Now I reload my Launchpad, and I hope now that the custom space is visible. Yeah, here it is. This is the SAP delivered space, and this is my custom space with the 4 pages overview page and the 3 SAP delivered pages. So I have reduced the number of pages. Okay. Then next step is I would like to edit this page. I can do this. Going back to the page. Now I go to the Manage Pages app. So Manage Spaces and Pages app are bundled. So it's just easy to navigate between this. Now I would like to edit this page. And now what can I do? I can change the section title. Click access. For example, like this. I can add my own section. And I can add applications here. I look for sales applications, sales related applications. I can just drag and drop now the app to the section. I can also here add it as a, here we have different visualization options. This is new with Frontend Server 2021. I can add it as flat tile and I can choose the section I want to add it. Now it's added as a flat tile. I can also add another app. I can add it as a link. We have a link area. So I can choose several visualization options now. This is a new feature. And also after adding it, I can still change the visualization after I've added it as tiles. So this can also be done here. You can see my new section, these 3 tiles, and I can also remove tiles like this. So I save. Just in sake of time, I need to hurry up a bit. So I wanted to show you how to edit a page. This is now done. And we check the result here. Reload the Launchpad. And here you can see now my demo overview page now looks like that. So I have edited this custom section, added some tiles in a different visualization, and so on. So this is a very easy, comfortable way to design your page layout now. Okay, something a bit, sometimes we are asked, can I change the order of the spaces on the top? So same question as before, the order of the groups in the Launchpad. Yes, you can now change. You can change it in the Launchpad in the Manage Spaces app. And I want to show in the general data, you have this sort priority. Here you can say, so the lower the number, the more left you will see the space. Save. And now we should see this, my custom space on the more left side. Okay, go back to Launchpad, reload. Now you can see the INDUS demo sales space moved to the left because I have added the -2 priority. And now the last option I want to show is that you can also personalize your your Launchpad in a very easy way. So this is the SAP delivered space, or I can use another one. This is a master data business partner page. I want to personalize this page. I go to the edit current pages, and here I can move around tiles, change the visualization option in a very easy way. As you can see, add sections is the same as we have seen in the page editor before. And this is personalization. Page is admin activity. Okay, so with that, I have shown the main features. So I fear that I will not have the time to cover Fiori deployment options. Maybe we need an additional session if there is some interest, because my colleague also wants to have some time for his presentation. So we have the slides for your reference. Everything I showed in the demo can be is shown also in the slides. And with that, I would like to hand over to the moderator. And yeah, that's it from my part for today.
Thanks, Carola, for taking us through the session. And if there are any questions for her, please do put it on the chat. Carola, if you can probably stay on and answer some of these questions on the chat, that will be really great.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
I stop sharing.
Yeah, Gaurav.
Yep, that would be me.
You can take it up.
Yeah, thanks, Carola, for beautifully showing out the capabilities that Fiori has, and also thanks to Mukesh and Taurus for giving us the great start to this session. And not last but the least, participants who take out time to join this whole extensive program for past 5 or 6 days. Yeah. So yeah, myself, Gaurav Day, part of TNI Cross Architecture team, and my primary role is to drive experience and adoption for SAP Business Technology Platform. Yeah. And in today's session, what I wanted to speak to the audience listening live and also in the recording is You might have this question that, okay, I understood all the features and offerings that SAP is, providing out there in the market, but how do I as a company, start implementing my own use case? So that's what we'll be talking in this session, where we'll be looking at few ways by which you as a company, as an individual, as a partner, as a customer can, quickly adopt SAP Business Technology Platform. Yeah. So yeah, I have a very short and crisp agenda for you folks, that where we will be, exploring a couple of use cases. We'll be experiencing those use cases which, are tailored for your specific journey. And obviously there are some customization that needs to be done if you implement those use cases in your, landscape. And then finally, how you as an individual or as a company can jumpstart your projects with a new concept called missions. Yeah, if not all of you are aware, we will be seeing in this session what is this new concept of missions, followed obviously by a demo. And then finally, the last step would be the key takeaways and the action items for you. Yeah. So I won't be talking much about on this slide, because I'm sure that you would have heard from other experts that what BTP has to offer for you as a company, the different stacks that we have, and the various hyperscalers you can run BTP over. Yeah. So I won't be going much in detail over here, but what I would be talking is, how we as a team, as a group, are trying to, bring out the business aspect of this whole business technology platform. Yeah? Because where we say that this platform is, truly made and truly customized for any company who is, positioning themselves to become an intelligent enterprise, and they are looking for ways to adopt these use cases to implement or to transform their day-to-day operations. Yeah, so that's where we as a unit bring out this the business side of the story into this BTP. And the portfolio that we're targeting are primarily these four pillars on BTP that forms the technology stack. And we have, offerings on every four pillars that you see over here, starting with database, analytics, integration, and finally the intelligent technologies. Yeah. So that's where we are targeting the missions. And I have put down the few missions that we have in the scope of a specific tool that we are also targeting to. So these missions typically help a business who is, looking to adopt if exactly the same use case, or they want to, customize these use case based on their scenario. Yeah. So imagine a concept, or imagine a scenario where, you want to do your invoices, and you want to transform them from manually to, making it completely digital or completely electronic. So what you will typically do is you will land up to the landing page that I'll be showing you, and you will typically start with this use case where we have, laid down the different steps, how you as a customer or a partner can, start sending out electronic invoices via your digital network. So that's where we try to position these use cases, catering to these four pillars. And also, yeah, the stack is growing day by day. Yeah? So that's where we as a unit comes into play. Yeah. So what we are talking about, what is this all, curiosity is all about. So that's where I introduce you a tool which is called SAP Discovery Center. And this is where I was talking about that, if you have a use case in mind, what should be your first step to, quickly adopt that use case? And before even adopting, to learn more about that use case. So that's where we position SAP Discovery Center as a tool. What is it? What does it bring onto the table? How can I use it as a company, and all that? Those things I'll be answering in the couple of minutes in the course of this session. But with SAP Discovery Center, what we are trying to position on, and for whom we are trying to position, are primarily two groups or two set of users. The first being the business users, which are more problem driven, which are looking for a specific solution to realize a very specific use case. Yeah. Imagine a CXO or a CIO of a company who is, trying to, let's say, create a chatbot to completely modify their support system. So that's how a business context comes into play. So that's the first persona with Discovery Center we are trying to target. The second being obviously the technology persons, the solution architects, the developers, all those, who are looking for ways to innovate in the current stack. Yeah, I'm sure that we have the both group of audiences in this set. But yeah, if you are more of a business driven persona, then you will typically use the concept of missions that I just now spoke a couple of minutes before within the scope of Discovery Center. So within the scope of Discovery Center, we use this concept of missions, which is nothing but use cases. You can call it as blueprints that gives you an idea that, okay, if I as a CEO wants to implement a chatbot in my current landscape, what are the typical options that SAP as a company is providing me to implement? So that's where you as a business user will look forward to. A solution architect will obviously explore these services, because this is the place where they can, as an a la carte option, you can pick and choose services and then define your technology, piece and aspect of the story. For a chatbot, typically you would need some machine learning capabilities, some database capabilities, and a kind of small UI. So you as a solution architect will come and probably explore the services section where you will, pick and choose the services that fits your demands, fits your scenario. Yeah? So that's where the whole concept of Discovery Center comes into play. And that's the value proposition Discovery Center brings onto the table, that, we are not a new product. We are not a kind of, a new sales material that is out there. What we are, just a kind of new offering and complementary offering to the ecosystem of customers, of partners, of individual users, be it potential SAP customers or potential or net new SAP customers. We target all these, stakeholders. So as you can see, with Discovery Center, we try to bring everything under a single umbrella. If you are exploring use cases via sap.com, if you are exploring, let's say, partner applications on SAP Store, if you are using Extensibility Explorer for your use case, everything is now clubbed within Discovery Center. And I won't say that this is the one-stop solution for all your problems, where you can, find use cases and scenarios. But yeah, this takes us to that way where, the business problems or the technology problems can be solved to a great extent. And how it can be done, we'll be seeing in the coming slides and the follow-up demo. Yeah. So that's the whole concept of a Discovery Center as a tool. Yeah. As I said, we are not doing anything new. We are already leveraging the existing resources that the ecosystem has already produced out there, internal as well as external, so with the Discovery Center, we are trying to give you a complete adoption and enablement package, yeah, where we try to cover the what and how piece of the story, because this is the problem that we have identified most of our customers have today in this current times, where they want to do this transformation, they want to adopt cloud technologies, but the what and how piece is the story that they're trying to miss it. Yeah? That's where we club these two things and give you the range of services from use case identification, where you as a company can define the outcomes, define the solutions, and also engage with other customers who have already successfully implemented these use cases. That's where we have a huge collection of customer stories where they implemented the exact same scenario, obviously with some customizations, with some tweaks here and there, some branding, some logo here and there. But yeah, we do have a huge pool of customers who already are live with the Discovery Center and the use cases published on top of it. And also the landscape needs and fit based on your specific needs, because it's very much true that one size never fits all. So that was one of the motivation for us, that how we can allow our customers to customize things here and there. Followed up by cost estimation, very important piece for businesses, where they also want to take a toll on the budget, that how much it will implement or how much it will put a load on my budgeting if I want to implement the exact same use case. So that's where Discovery Center as a tool also allows you to do the cost estimation, followed up by obviously learning resources. Boosters, if you're not aware what boosters is all about, they are kind of automated journey that allows you as a company to quickly set up your tenants, quickly set up your BTP cockpit to kickstart your development journey. So that's are already integrated within Discovery Center as well. Obviously, we thought that if we as a unit go out there alone, it would be very difficult to grow. So that's where we have leveraged complete potential of community, where we have experts from community who are engaged or tagged along to each and every missions to support you in your digital journey. And obviously for project collaboration and tracking, yeah, where you as a company, you as an individual user can track your progress, where you are at the current state, and how much time will it take to evangelize this use case or to implement this use case. And we have missions from various stakeholders. We have our PM groups who are contributing these missions. We have SAP partners who are contributing missions. We have consulting who are also contributing missions. Yeah? So that's what Discovery Center is trying to do, connecting the dots. Yeah. So now you might ask me that, okay, this was already available out there. We had GitHub, we had communities, we have developer tutorials, but why this whole concept of discovery center is required. Yeah. So we also did some SWOT analysis, and we found out that, just about the year when this pandemic wasn't there, and we saw that around 80 odd percentage, or 83 exact number to quote, 83% of B2B buying decisions are made without vendor involvement. Yeah. And that's where it triggered us that we need to provide our ecosystem a complete outstanding digital experience to boost our sales, to boost our ecosystem confidence on SAP technologies. Yeah. So that's where with the Discovery Center, we are trying to map these lace journey where, we have land, adopt and consume, and also expand the whole journey for a typical customer, where you as a customer can explore different solutions in the form of missions, obviously in Discovery Center. You can evaluate in the form of cost estimation that we'll be seeing. You can try out these missions, obviously, and these missions are obviously free of cost. There's no additional charge, or I should say there are no charges to, you as a company or as an individual to start those missions. And then finally, you can make a purchasing decision that, okay, now I have tried this use case. It absolutely fits my demands. I want to buy these solutions. So that's where you can make an informed decision before going into an agreement. And finally, with the project board, with the expert guidance, you can adopt these missions. So that's the whole value proposition why Discovery Center is required. Yeah. How do we do it? Obviously, the follow-up question that, how does Discovery Center enables all these? So we have again tried to categorize into three broad pillars. Explore, obviously, with missions and services that we just now talked about, how missions and services fulfills the purpose of a decision maker and also for an solution architect. So that's where we have this concept of missions and services under the Explore umbrella. Evaluate, as I said, we do have a huge pool of customers who are already live with these solutions, with implementing these use cases, and they have their success stories that, what is the value proposition they got out of it. So that's where we have the customer stories followed up by many demos. And finally, on the evaluation part, to me, the most important, leg of the journey is estimating the cost. So with Discovery Center, you can estimate the cost even before buying a solution. Obviously, these are estimates. Your sales executives, your account executives might give you a kind of special deal or discounted deal. But yeah, this gives you a head start that, okay, this much quota is required, this much bandwidth is required, and this much will be the cost for me to implement such a scenario. Finally, trying and adopting is where we have the concept of project boards, very similar to a project management tool where you as a company can, break it down into smaller chunks, into actionable cards, assign it to members, do your tracking that, I want this card or I want this phase to be completed by, let's say, Q3 and so forth. So that's where you can track your whole journey. And finally, this also needs to be backed up by some expert from some, community experts, community guidance. So that's where we have minimum 2 experts from SAP, from community, from partners to tag along with you in your journey and support in your questions, in your blockers and all those parts. And obviously, the community is always there to support. So that's how we do this whole enablement piece with the Discovery Center. Now, obviously, you would ask me that, okay, the story is all nice. It sounds pretty, interesting to try out, but how can I believe, So that's where I say that strength in the numbers, and that's where the numbers speak for themselves. So if you see Discovery Center, and this is, if I'm not wrong, the data around Q2, where we had around 230 odd missions. We had around 15K customers who have, started these missions. We had around 30K registered and valid users on Discovery Center, and around 60K pages views per month, spanning across missions and services. So that's where the whole strength from the numbers and the value proposition of Discovery Center is now proven from the ecosystem, obviously. And we are also growing. Yeah. Now, if in the audience, if we have some partners who are also listening, who will also listen to the recording, for partners, we also have a separate segment where we position Discovery Center and the various opportunities that we have for them is, we allow these partners to create a separate pipeline, obviously to their existing pipelines, which they as a company drive on their, strengths. But with the Discovery Center, you can also have an additional pipeline for your store applications and also position or also brand your consulting offerings to SAP ecosystem and also tap onto the potential SAP customer base. So that's where the first and the most important value proposition for partner comes into play. With the Discovery Center, you get direct access to the implementation guidance in the form of, project boards, You also get experts from SAP and partner coaches who can help your set of customers to, implement those use cases and move ahead in that journey. You also get the aligned product representation from SAP, which also motivates these customers that, okay, this is something, this content is coming from SAP and a certified partner, there might be some juice in it. Yeah. So that's what motivate the customers to, start a mission and then try out your features and services. And most of all, I think in this round of audience, this might raise eyebrows. Yes, Discovery Center is free of cost, and all the features that I have just now spoken, I will be speaking in the next slides or showing you in the demo are all free of cost. We don't charge the partners or the customers either to start a mission, to contribute a mission, to explore things here and there. So everything is free of cost. Yeah. And obviously a lot more features and capabilities, but yeah, just to keep it short and simple, these are the few highlights I wanted to showcase. Yeah. Now, what are the key takeaways or action items I would request you to take out of this session is obviously explore Discovery Center, try out things, try out missions, try out exploring the estimates and stuff. Where you can see we have streamlined and accelerated the onboarding process. If you are a customer who is exploring the other vendors out there, we request you to explore Discovery Center in the form of missions, where we have shown the capabilities of BTP in many segments. You can quickly start your journey with BTP and see how easy it is to find relevant content in the form of learning journeys, in the form of implementation content. Obviously, these are all backed up by best practices. So any mission that you start is coming from SAP experts, yeah, and these are all best practices. So rest assured, if you are blocked, at any step, you get expert support. You get all the SMEs who are there to support you in your journey. And let's say if they are not available, we obviously have the community to support us, yeah. Followed up by the boosters, which are, as I said, kind of automated journeys to, kickstart your journey and then start the whole process in the just matter of clicks. So that was on the slide that I wanted to show you. Now let's quickly switch to the small demo I had for you in my mind. Pretty small. You might also, concur with me that if you have a use case in mind, if you have a business problem in your mind, the first place you land up is obviously a browser. The second being obviously your colleagues in the team, in your company. But yeah, I personally try to explore first that, what are the options available. So assume, as I was talking about a chatbot, assume I am a CEO of a company. I want to implement a chatbot. I want to, modularize. I want to digitize my support system to the customers out there. So what I do is I explore the chatbot options from SAP. So very obvious, I come to a browser. I search if SAP has let's say a COVID-19 chatbot available to, support the queries that I'm coming from the customers out there. So very first and obvious results is from our sap.com, yeah, our marketing website. So that's where my first intent to go and see that, okay, there's something from SAP which talks about, improving online patient experience via a chatbot. Okay, so this looks nice. I explore, I read up a couple of information over here. I see a nice architecture diagram for this use case. I see that, okay, these are the components that typically will be required for my developers to, start implementing the solution and developing it. Great. So this sounds promising, and I have full faith and trust in SAP that, okay, this solution would be an enterprise grade solution. So I then decide, okay, I want to try this out. But how do I, start? How do I proceed forward? How do I transfer the baton to my solution experts, solution architects? So that's where the value proposition of Discovery Center comes in, where all these use cases are tagged along with a mission, as I was talking about. In the scope of Discovery Center, we talk about missions. You also can say use cases or blueprints. So that's where I can explore this mission in Discovery Center. Yeah. And that's where I land up on Discovery Center. The layout of Discovery Center, I will also show you, but just to give you the context and complete the journey, all the same information that was there in sap.com is also on Discovery Center, but with some additional inputs. With some additional inputs like, what is the challenge? What is the outcome that I will as a company receive if I implement this exact solution? And what are the steps that I need to take as a company to, implement this solution? Obviously, the architecture diagram, I can see the components. And now for me as a decision maker, as a CEO, I want to see the estimate. Yeah. So that's where I can quickly see that, okay, these are the components involved. This is how the estimate, looks like for me to, go through and implement the same scenario. So that's the total estimate that I will be required as a company to implement this solution. And then finally, I'll switch back to the mission where I will be talking about the other aspects for these missions, where I was talking about the layout of how you as a company can, position your whole journey. So that's where the concept of project board comes into play, where we have broken this whole use cases into smaller chunks, into small actionable cards, which you as a user, you as a company can start and can track your progress. So that's the layout of project board, which highlights the steps that you can take. Obviously, resources that can be an additional learning journeys and learning aspects. Support, as I was saying, for every mission, we do have mission experts tagged along with you. So if you start as this mission, you will also get access to these experts who can, then help you in your journey. Obviously, we do have a community as well, followed up by customer stories, because for a company to, start their journey, they need some references, they need some trust on this mission. So that's where we highlight the companies or the customers who have implemented the exact same scenario with some tweaks and customizations. That's where you can find the customer stories, followed up by some related missions. Obviously, if you are successful with this mission, you would also like to explore some other missions as well, some other, aspects. So that's where we have related missions. So that was the small piece I wanted to show you on the demo part, and that's the landing page for Discovery Center. Again, the way you can do is, again, you can go to one of the favorite browser of your choice. Yeah, once you land up over there, just search for SAP Discovery Center, and this should give you the first result. And this takes you to the Discovery Center. So two main entities we talked about, we saw in the previous slides. We do have more and more customer stories that you can explore who used many missions. So let's take this example where, we have more information. If you are interested, you can learn more about there as well. Yeah. So that's where Discovery Center tries to club or connect the dots between, all the aspects from SAP.com, from SAP Store and other things. Yeah. So that's the short demo I had planned for you. And I really appreciate for you to, taking time to listen to this patiently. And that was my time. And thanks for your, support on this piece. That was all from my side. Back to you, Mukesh. Mukesh?
Mukesh, you're muted.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So 2 years of doing online meetings, and we still miss muting and unmuting. So thank you so much, Gaurav.
Sorry, I was sorry, but actually, you asked me to expand my question, right?
Yes, please go on.
Sorry, I don't know who is the speaker to ask with.
Carola.
Carola.
Please go ahead.
I just one question, like from how can we get how can we get business role from catalog? I tried to find in Fiori library, but I didn't get any roles so that I can activate so that I can rapidly activate that role, so that I can activate the raw data and catalog all things.
So if you select an app in the app reference library, then on the right-hand side, you have this product feature section. And then if you click on the implementation.
Do you want to share your screen and maybe show?
Thank you.
Implementation.
It's great if you share your screen so that we can.
I can share. Yeah, share. Just a moment, please.
I can share the catalog name if you.
So just you have the app, right? And here select an app. Let's see. It doesn't matter.
I send you the catalog ID.
So
I can
send a catalog ID on the
implementation information here for this app. Implementation information, configuration, and then here you can see the app names, also data services, then target mapping. We have the technical catalog, which delivers the original definition of the tile target mapping, the catalog name, and and the related business roles.
Yes,
Business roles.
this I know, but how
Okay.
can we find from catalog? So in customization, I got this catalog ID, but I'm not getting any business role. If I get a business role, that I can easily
FLP
activate it by
admin.
rapid activation.
FLP admin. This is in the content manager. The catalog, sorry, catalog. I assume this is as a design time tools you want to show admin. This is admin tools, business catalog. And in the admin tools, maybe this is not this exactly the same catalog. Show usage and role. So this is not part of roles. Maybe it's called different. Let's just see. SAP. I search for SAP FLP like that. Launchpad all apps. This one. And this role is containing this catalog, but I'm just looking for the right business catalog. This is maybe not still the one you need. Is this a SAP catalog? Yeah, right.
Yes, it is a SAP catalog. You can find in the Launchpad customization. A designer, sorry, I mean designer.
So maybe you can share your screen. That'll be slightly better.
Yeah, yeah.
Just hold a second.
Yeah, please share your screen.
While he does that, anyone else has any questions? Just put the question on the chat, please.
Carola, Gaurav here. My question to you is that how we can restrict the Fiori tiles with our values, like we do in the traditional roles assignments. How we can restrict the users?
So you'll have to stop sharing, Carola, so that Shubham can share. Shubham, let me know if you're having difficulty sharing.
Just let me know if my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, visible.
So this is my catalog ID.
Gaurav, just stay on for a minute. We'll come to your question once we are done with this. Yeah.
I'm searching this catalog ID, and this catalog ID has these particular applications, right?
Yes, right.
So how can I find this business, this application business role? As I am searching in Fiori library.
Maybe you can search via an app which is included in this catalog. Then
yes, if I choose this troubleshooting, if I use PFCG, sorry.
The best way to analyze the content is always the content manager. So with the catalog ID, this
is not found.
No. This is here is you have more the app view, and you can see which are the related catalogs and the related business roles. But if you want to analyze the relationship between catalogs and roles, so I would recommend to use a content manager.
So that's the thing now I'm asking for, like this is the catalog ID.
Yeah.
So we have this much of application. If I search by analog application log, even though it's not showing in SAP library, so how can I find the business role so that I can activate the is all the roles by rapid activation? Very rapid activation.
could check in the content manager, as mentioned, the best way to check in which roles this catalog is delivered, and then the activation is always done on role level. So this is the tile information. You need the target mapping information, not the tile information, if you're in the designer.
So maybe Shubham, just stop sharing.
Okay.
And Carola, will you be able to share the screen and show where? Or you can take it online, offline.
Yes,
I would suggest.
Yeah, so let's have a short alignment of after the meeting or later. So not
so Shubham,
directly
just
after this.
you
but,
can drop an email to her and set up some time
yeah,
so that you can go
please.
through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just give me email ID so that I can.
We'll be sharing that. We'll be sharing that with everybody.
Okay, sure.
Okay. I can share it in the chat.
Yeah, that'll
everybody.
Be good.
It's just need to check this, that I chatted to everyone. I already chatted it to some single people.
Gaurav, you had a question, right? Please go ahead. Gaurav Sharma, I think you had a question. If you are saying something, we can't hear you, Gaurav. Okay, so any other questions for either Carola or to Gaurav De?
So you can contact me via mail if you have questions after the session. So I think you will share the slides, and in the slides you will find also my email in addition. So feel free to contact me via mail after the session. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, Carola, for doing that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, then I would like to thank everyone for your time and patience. We have run out of all the SAP sessions, and I have not heard from anyone from the customer organizations if you would like to share your experience. So tomorrow's session on the calendar stands cancelled. So please, please remove that from your calendar, and we will see you in the next session whenever we organize for the session that Toro said. We will come back to you with more information on that. So until then,
Mukesh,
go on.
This side.
Go on, Gaurav.
Yeah. So could you guys help us on for the utilization of Fiori apps? I have already sent a mail to Iris, one of the speakers in the previous sessions. So could you guys please arrange, because we have implemented the SAP Fiori very well in our landscape. But when we are going to present Fiori apps to our business, they have raised some certain questions. How these apps are calculating these values and all these things. We are not able to find anything. So how to match this? We want to improve the utilization of Fiori, standard Fiori apps. How we can do that?
This is a question to me because I did not understand it, because it was some bad noise somewhere. So can someone repeat the question if it's for me?
Gaurav, can you please repeat? I was also not able to follow your question. Can you just repeat your question? If I understood correctly, what you said was that you've deployed Fiori apps and now you want to show that to the management that you are deployed Fiori apps and are using the best possible with Fiori. Is that the question?
Yes, and while presenting that to the management, there are some questions from our core users that how these values are coming in this Fiori app. Like we have activated the overview apps, overview pages. And there, for example, in account table section, it is saying days sales outstanding, how this system is calculating these 96 days. This type of questions. Can you guys please arrange one session for us?
So the data comes from the SAP backend SAP system. Sorry, Taurus, you were saying something? Point taken, Gaurav. I think let me try and see if there is something that we can
Yes.
do for this.
The major thing that we want to improve the utilization of Fury in our organization. Just need your help. How we can improve that?
Sure. So we need to help you prove
Okay,
the
sorry.
value of Fiori.
Extended development. It will be great if there will be a session on how to implement Fury. Implementation of Fury, like foundation and the gateway implementation. If we had a session on that, that will be great for us.
So you mean running the task lists, really see how it runs, and the task lists I showed today I just showed which task lists are relevant, but you really want to see how it runs and so on?
Yes, there are there are might be 4 to 5 task lists that we have to run for installing the Fury and the gateway and the foundation for Fury Launchpad. So it will be great if we have a small demo on that, if the live demo, so that it will be helpful for us to install Fury Launchpad and the foundation for us.
Yes, I think this is possible. I know a colleague who can do that.
Sorry.
Could do that. Yes, I think so. If this is a request, we can ask someone. I know people who could do that.
Hello, this is Sharda here.
Yeah, go on, Sharda.
Okay, sure.
I mean, I was working since for 2.5 years.
Sharda, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I am working with Fiori since last 2 years in the front, specialized in backend rather than the front end. But whatever, I would like to share my experiences during this implementation. Most of the time, we face the issues with respect to the performance. Okay. For example, in materials management, where we do PID process, where we have seen the performance issues with respect to posting the PIDs into the from Fiori front end. So also in case of PMR, we are facing the issue with respect to performance, where offers has been created on the product hierarchy level. So how do we find out the root cause of those performance issues, whether it is related to front end or whether it is related to back end? What are the what are the areas of optimization which we can proactively take it out in general, and with respect to a particular app, how we can look at.
Sharda, you are saying about the on-premise, or you are working with on-cloud solutions for Fury?
Sharda, have you raised? I'm assuming that you would have already raised a ticket on your issues, and oh, looks like Sharda is disconnected. No, she's there. Have you raised a OSS message for
Yeah, we
the
have raised OSS messages. So I just want to have some sort of guidelines where we can proactively look at that particular apps, or apps in the front end as well as back end, and try to look at get that particular understanding. Okay, this is the areas where we can look for the optimization from the implementation point of view, or rather we can then proactively take it to the SAP and get the help or suggestions from them proactively, instead of we came to this particular issues at the time of UAT, where we have the proper significant amount of data as that of production or in a real-time scenario. Whereas we have seen SIT, it goes very smoothly.
Do you use a hub or embedded deployment?
No, it is a hub.
Hub deployment, okay. Yeah, okay. So, of course, the root cause analysis is, yeah, maybe there are several tools on the back end. There are tools, and we have the browser tools. You can analyze the requests, but it's also sometimes a question how the app is built, and if it's more app-specific issue or if it's a general issue of the setup. And okay, what I can do, I could try to find out if we have some guidelines or some documentation where we can give help how to analyze it. So I can try to find out this. Maybe this would be helpful.
Mukesh, what I would suggest is, it seems like there's a lot of people that have a lot of detailed questions. I would suggest that maybe we set up another call just as a Q&A call, the sort of coffee corner kind of a session, where we can get Carola and maybe another colleague who can answer more of the technical
Let's do that.
questions.
I think that's a good idea. It cannot be one or two speakers. I think the challenge with some of these is that the customers look at the entire thing in a holistic way, right from finding an app to developing and deploying an app, whereas the people within SAP, we are a lot more focused on a particular topic as well. So probably we'll need to bring in 3, 4, 5 experts who can cover the entire range and do a ask me anything on leveraging Fiori. So maybe that's something that we should be able to do that, Taurus. And I'll try and see if we can get this done in the next maybe 3, 4 weeks time. And we'll come back to you on that. Thanks, Sharda and Gaurav for the suggestions.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, Sharda, if you wanted to connect with Carola on a one-on-one, I think please go ahead and feel free to do that. But more detailed questions, I think we should provide more time since we are running out of time here. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I think we are right on top of the time that we had for today. I hope you all found the 6 sessions valuable. Again, tomorrow's session stands cancelled. So I will talk to you again at one of the other INDUS events. And thanks a lot, Taurus, for helping us put together the entire session. Thanks, Caroline. Thanks, Gaurav Dey. And thanks, Carola, for delivering the session today and answering all the questions.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you.